Japanese turn 2. First, we're going to start with a bond roll. We have 6 for the bond roll. Congratulations. On to production. We have 41 IPCs and we are spending 39, which includes 4 infantry, 2 mech, 1 tank, 1 transport, and 1 destroyer. Moving on to combat. First, we're going to start in Siam. We have 2 infantry from Siam moving into French Indochina. Iwo Jima, there's a submarine that's moving into Guam. Sea Zone 6 in Japan, we have a destroyer moving into Guam. Sea Zone 34, that's the Palau Islands. We have a carrier moving into the Philippines. We have a destroyer in Sea Zone 34 moving to Sea Zone 46 to attack the New Zealand transport. Sea Zone 34, we have 2 planes flying from the carrier and attacking Guam. Sea Zone 36, we have all the ships moving to Sea Zone 37. There's going to be an invasion of Malaya. So that includes 2 destroyers, 1 cruiser, 2 battleships, 2 carriers. Sorry, 1 submarine is left behind. We have a plane, 1 plane fighter moving into Sea Zone 41. And the remainder of the planes, the 2 dive bombers and a fighter, they're attacking Malaya as part of the invasion. In Japan, we have 2 transports, which are combined, taking in 3 infantry and an artillery and moving to the Philippines for an invasion. Sea Zone 20, we have 1 transport, which is carrying an artillery and a tank from Kieng Sai and moving that down from Sea Zone 20 down to Sea Zone 37 to invade Malaya. In Sea Zone 19, we have 2 transports. We have 1 transport, which will take 2 infantry out of Kiangsu and invade Hong Kong. And we have 1 transport, which is going to pick up the other infantry in Kiangsu and 1 infantry in Manchuria. And they are going to invade Guam. We have a cruiser in Sea Zone 20 moving to the Philippines. we have in Kiang Sea, we have 2 bombers which are going to the Philippines. In Chahar, we have 2 infantry moving to Suiyan. Anwar, we have 1 infantry moving to Hopei. We have 2 fighters in Kiangsu moving and attacking the submarine with the destroyer support in Guam, Sea Zone 21. Hunan, we have 1 infantry going to Quinchu, 1 infantry going to Quinchu, and 1 infantry moving to Yunnan. Kiangsu, we have the 4 aircraft there, which is 2 dive bombers and 2 fighters attacking Hong Kong with the amphibious assault. And Shantung, we have 2 dive bombers which are flying from Shantung down to attack Hong Kong. And we have 1 submarine in Sea Zone 36 which is moving to the Celebes. I think that's non-combat move, but I'm going to move it now because I don't want to forget. So that's it for the combat movement, and now we're going to do the combat itself. So the combat itself, so we're going to go first to Guam, and so we're going to have an invasion, but first we have to have a naval battle. So I'm going to assume that the fighter is going to defend on the land and the submarine is going to be by itself on the sea. So we're going to roll for the first, and then there'll be 2 fighters attacking the submarine. They've come from the mainland, and then the 2 fighter, the dive bomber, tactical bomber, and the fighter that came from the carrier are going to attack on the land and assist on the invasion. So the rolls for the 2 fighters against the submarine. So the submarine is sunk. The submarine gets a chance to fire back. The submarine is missed. So we have, for our first battle, 1 submarine sunk. Moving on to the invasion. So we have a tactical bomber and a fighter coming in. Tactical bomber and a fighter both missed. We have 2 infantry, and they both miss. So the American fighter fires, and it scores a hit. So we are going to take off 1 infantry. And now we do another round of combat. We have, again, a fighter and a tactical bomber. This time they hit, and the American returns fire and also gets a hit. So this time I'm going to have to take off a fighter. And the invasion is a success. So moving on to the Battle of the Philippines. So first we have a naval action. Or let's do something simple, I apologize. First we're going to do the one in Sea Zone 46. So the destroyer attacks a transport. The destroyer is sunk. Okay, moving on to the Philippines. So we have a naval battle, and then after that we will have an invasion. So for the naval battle, we have we have a cruiser, and we will have a bomber coming in. So both the cruiser and the bomber against American destroyer. So the bomber sinks the destroyer. Destroyer fires back and sinks the cruiser. So that's the naval combat completed. So now we do the land combat. So we have 2 American infantry versus 1 bomber, 2 Japanese infantry unassisted, and 1 Japanese infantry with an artillery. So the first thing we're going to do is do the bomber. And the bomber scores a hit. Then we're going to do the infantry with the artillery and another hit. So both Americans are destroyed. And now we're going to fire back with the Americans. And you can see they miss. So in that battle, it's been concluded. And the Americans have been eliminated from the Philippines. Moving on to Hong Kong. So we have a whole whack-a-load of aircraft here. So we've got 2 dive bombers assisted by 2 fighters. So therefore the dive bombers get a 4. So 2 at 4 miss. Oh, 1 hit. And then we have, then we roll for the fighters. So that's 2 hits. So the 2 men in Hong Kong get to fire back. And they score 2 hits. Ouch. So in order to take Hong Kong, we lose 1 infantry. And we also lose a fighter. So that was the invasion of Hong Kong. Moving on down to our last battle. So this one I'm going to put on the board, on the battle board. So we got 3 infantry. So this is my battle board, defender, attacker. So 3 infantry go here. In this case, we have 2 battleships, 1 cruiser. We have an invasion of a tank. We have a tactical bomber assisted by a fighter. And we have an artillery. So now we're going to roll. So we're going to roll first with the battleships. Battleships both score a hit, so that's 2 off. Then we have a cruiser. The cruiser misses. We have a dive bomber, and the dive bomber hits. So the units are destroyed. They fire back, 1 or 2, and they score 1 hit. So we will take off an artillery, and the units in Malaya are gone. So the Battle of Malaya is concluded. And then the final battle, we have a aircraft versus a transport. So the transport is eliminated. That's in Sea Zone 41. Okay, so now we are going on to non-combat. Just a minute, I'll return these to the board. Okay, so in let's just confirm territories. Indochina has been taken over. Yunnan has been taken over. Guangzhou has been taken over. Hubei has been taken over. And Shuiyuan has been taken over. Guam has been invaded. Philippines have been invaded. Malaya has been invaded. So return planes. So these planes return to the carriers in C Zone 37. So all planes return C Zone 37. The planes, the bombers in the Philippines, go back to Kiang Sea. The dive bombers that attacked Hong Kong and the fighters land in Kiang Sea. The fighters that attacked Guam from the mainland fly back to Kiang Sea. The one surviving dive bomber, oh, apologies, this one was here, so instead of flying back to the mainland, we have actually, thanks to the Americans killing one of us, we actually have one free space on this carrier, so we will put that on the carrier, so we have a full flight deck again. Okay, so non-combat moves. So we are going to move from Johor. We're going to move 6 infantry and 1 artillery to Manchuria. We are going to fly these 3 planes from Shantung, 3 fighters, to Manchuria. So now we're going to do final disposition of forces. So we have Malaya occupied with an armored unit, tank. We have 2 carriers. We have 2 full air groups. 2 of them are tactical bombers, 2 are fighters, 2 battleships, 1 cruiser, 2 destroyers, and 1 submarine. In Celebes, we have 1 submarine. The Philippines, we have a carrier, 2 aircraft. 1 is a dive bomber, the other is a fighter. We have 2 transports, and on the Philippines itself, we have 3 infantry and 1 artillery. In Yunnan, we have 1 infantry. In Hunan, we have, this is 3 infantry. I'll change that afterwards. 3 infantry and 2 artillery. Right now it's just a green disc for the infantry. In Guizhou, we have 1 infantry. Hubei, we have 1 infantry. Anhui, we have 4 infantry and 2 artillery. Chahar, we have 1 artillery and 1 mechanized. In Manchuria, we have 7 infantry, 1 artillery, 3 aircraft. On Japan, we have 2 infantry. Iwo Jima, we have 1 infantry. We have, I think I mentioned the Philippines. So the last thing is production. So on here, we are going to put a destroyer and a transport in C Zone 6. We're going to put 4 infantry on Tokyo. We're going to put the 2 mech and 1 tank in Kiansu. So apologies, the production is now changes that in Japan, as you can see, with 1 transport, 1 destroyer in Sea Zone 6, and then for 6 infantry in Tokyo, and then Kiangsi with the minor production factory, we have 2 mechanized and 1 tank. So that concludes combat, non-combat, and I'll count up the production after. Thank you.